Good day, sir. Our group name is Pushing P. So our movie title for this assignment is The Bright Side. So I'm the group leader, Park Wei Jie, and the group member is Go Yishun, Luigi Luke Lazaro, Hao Jun Jae, and Nikki Chua Wai Kit. Next, I will briefly explain the short synopsis about this movie. So, Michael O'Hare is a homeless black teen has drifted in and out of the school system for years. Then Liv and Tohi and her husband Sean take him in. The Tohis eventually become Michael's legal guardians, transforming both his life and theirs. Michael's tremendous size and protective instincts make him a formidable force on the Gridiron, and with help from his new family and devoted tutor, he realized his potential as a student and a football player. Next, there are five characters that we will be discussing in this project. There is Michael O'Hare, the protagonist of The Bright Side, followed up with Liv and Tohi, which is another pivotal character in this movie. The next character is Sean Tohi, which is husband of Liv Ann. SJ, who is the son of the Tohi couple. Lastly is the private tutor for Michael O'Hare, which is Misu.
Next, we will talk about the first part of the assignment, which is the individual behavior and processes. Next, there will be three topics that we will use for the individual of this character. The first one is the individual behaviors, personality, and values. The second is workplace emotions, attitudes, and stress. And lastly is the employee motivation. Okay, we move into the individual behavior, personality, and values. For the first one, we will be talking about Michael O'Hare. In this picture, you can see that Michael O'Hare and SJ are in the car. This scene is when Michael O'Hare and SJ were in the car and they were jamming to a song which is famous, and SJ was singing to it. Michael wasn't paying attention to the road. Suddenly, a lorry would just come through, and Michael O'Hare immediately put his hand to protect SJ to get a worse damage. In this scene, we will use the mass model to evaluate Michael's decision. For the first part of mass model is the motivation. The motivation of Michael is to protect SJ from getting severely damaged from the crash. The second part is the ability. The ability is Michael O'Hare know how vulnerable SJ is if he did not put his hand to protect SJ who is sitting on the passenger seat. It might cause a lot of damage than it looked if he did not put his hand. The third part of the mass model is the role perception. The, the role perception of Michael O'Hare is he know who needed more protection. Since Michael's body is big, he does not need a lot of protection from the protecting himself from the airbag. But for SJ, who is small in size, need a lot of protection. If he does not protect, he might cause a head fracture or something much more worse. Last is the situational factor. The situational factor here is Michael's quick thinking to immediately put his hand, protect my SJ from getting a very bad crash from the accident. That's all for me.
My name is Nikki, and the scene from the figure illustrates that when the Tuohy couple invite Michael O'Hare to become a part of the family. Based on Mars model, the motivation of Leanne in deciding to become Michael O'Hare's legal guardian is because she felt comfortable with the existence of Michael to be a part of their family. Uh, Leanne even said that Michael changed her life. She also has the ability to become a legal guardian of Michael O'Hare because she is already the mother of two children, which are Sean Jr. and Collins Tohi. In role perceptions, Leanne acknowledges the responsibilities of being a legal guardian. This shown when she hires Miss Sue to become Michael's personal tutor so that Michael is able to improve his exam results. She also went to meet Michael's biological mother, Denise O'Hare, to let her know that she's becoming Michael's legal guardian. For the situational factor, Leanne wasn't able to adopt Michael as their child because of his age. Therefore, the parents agreed to become Michael's legal guardian. That's all from me.
Next, I'm going to talk about the behavior of Sean Tony on becoming the Michael legal guardians. So in this scene, Leanne is discussed with the Sean Tony about to become the Michael legal guardians. Sean Tony is surprised with what she say and argue that giving the financial support and become the legal guardians is two totally different things. So, but however, the Sean Choi does not reject her wife's suggestions immediately because he loves his wife and he know that once she decided, no one can change her decisions. So based on the mass model, the motivation for Sean Choi is to become the in becoming the Michael Orr guardian is his wife because if she never mentioned it, then Sean Choi will never think of it, even though he providing the financial support on mathematical in school. Next is abilities. Sean Choi persist the skill and knowledge to receive another son because he is already the father of two children. So furthermore, Sean Choi understands the responsibility of becoming a father in both perception. Therefore, he does not immediately agree his wife's suggestions. Lastly, the situational factors that make Sean Tony to become a Michael legal guardian is also his wife, because during the discussions, the Lian hugged the Sean Tony from back to make him accept her suggestions. That's all for me.
SJ is a happy, sociable person who, like his mother, knows exactly what he wants in life. Michael was the first to initiate meaningful discussion and develop a personal connection with him, making him feel welcome. Based on Mars model, the motivation of SJ is helping Michael in the training. SJ started to train Michael since he didn't know the knowledge of football. SJ began by teaching Michael the foundation of football and the rules of the game. SJ also appears in the film, taking Michael on a simple training routine. SJ wants Michael to do this is to help him gain strength and stamina for football training and competition. SJ also helps Michael training in hopes that he would become a football star in the future. So that's all for me. Next.
Now I'm going to talk about Misu. Misu is a private tutor hired by the Lian to help improve Michael or her result so that Michael can be able to get the scholarship of the university. And due to these reasons, the main objective of Misu is to make sure that Michael or her can achieve minimum requirements to get the scholarships. When Michael first time meeting with Misu, Michael is not so willing to learn. But after having the conversations with Misu, Michael start to get back to learn. In this sense, Misu always give her patience when teaching Michaels, even when the Michael does not understand the questions and would like to give up. And in this sense, I'm using the mass model to make the explanations. In this case, the motivation of Misu is to helping Michael or her improving his result in the high school so that he can be able to achieve minimum grades to get scholarship so that he can get into an university. In order to achieve this purpose, Misos is giving her patience to Michaels and always supporting Michaels. The main reason of choosing Misu as the Michael tutor is because Misu is having a huge experience in teachings. Besides that, Misu always take her responsibility to guiding Michaels when he's face any problem in his educations, and also give him suggestions when he's need to make decisions. The situation factor in this scene is that Miso need to improve Michael's grades from 1.7 CGPA to at least 2.5 CGPA at the end of the year, which means that Miso will need to improve Michael's grade in a very short period of time. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for the next part of the individual part of this character is the workplace emotion, attitude, and stress. Next. we will be talking about Michael O'Hare for this part of the assignment. Okay, Michael O'Hare has released two types of emotion in this scene, as you can see. The first one is the high activation negative emotion. Is when Michael was feeling very stressful and fearful after being interrogated by an NCCA woman about his decision to play for the Ole Miss, which is the alma mater of the Tui couple. He felt that he was being forced to answer the question without any time, and he feel very stressed, and in the end he decided to storm off from the office and not answering the question. After that, Lian went to find Michael and saw Michael was sitting alone. After having a talk with Lian, Michael started to feel very happy and very cheerful, that he thought that his decision for playing Ole Miss was all based on the Tui's couple. This shows that Michael activate another type of emotion, and the emotion is called a high activation positive emotion. Next.
So, when Michael is involved in a vehicle accident in the film, Lian tries to control his emotion. Michael crashes his car while driving SJ to the store because he fails to detect a truck approaching the intersection. Lian attempts to console and soothe Michael after knowing that he feels guilty and sorry. She tells him that SJ is okay and that it was not his fault that they got trapped in the accident. In conclusion, we can tell that Lian has a high emotional intelligence because she can manage others' emotions where she is trying to comfort Michael so that he doesn't feel guilty and remorse anymore. That's all.
Sean Tohi emotional emotions are limited in this film. So in one scene, his wife is regret picking a college for Michael O'Hare without asking the Michael O'Hare concern which institution he liked, and she let him go to her alma matters. In this scene, the Sean is calm and nice to his wife. He does not criticize his wife's choice and attempt to console her by stating that he will make the same choice if this will happen again. So Sean Tohi has high emotional intelligence since he is attempting to deliver happy emotion to his wife instead of negative emotion to make things worse. Next.
In this scene, SJ feels great for Michael since the tourist present him a truck on his driver license day. In this scenario, SJ is thrilled and excited for Michael to acquire his first vehicle. He became excited because he could go on a car journey with Michael. SJ also instructing Michael another incident where he demonstrated high activation happy feeling. SJ was a great trainer for Michael. Michael was first interested in training. Michael began to take SJ order seriously and began to train. Another scene from SJ indicates a high activation present mood. In this scene, SJ happily accepts Michael as a family member. He began when the twins announced their former guardianship of Michael. SJ was overjoyed and eagerly accepted Michael. As you can see from SJ scenarios, he constantly delivers a high activation happy emotion. Next.
In this scene, Michael is first time meeting with Misu, which Misu is trying to teaching Michael the mathematical structure. In the beginning of this scene, Michael seems like want to give up because he does not understand the questions. Even though Misu still willing to teach Michael so that he could get a higher grade in the next exam. And based on the emotional reaction of Misu in this scene, which she was enthusiastic about helping Michael to improve his grade. Misu always take her responsibility as a tutor, which he's teaching Michael patiently and always encourage Michael. And not only that, Misu always helping Michael when he's face any problem in his educations. Next.
Okay, the next part for the individual part is the employee motivation. Next. So all of us will be using the expectancy theory of motivation. Okay, I will be explaining about Michael or her. Okay, Michael or her has to get a certain CGPA in order for him to play college football. So with that, the two-his couple hired a private tutor, Misu, to teach him. Okay, Michael do not have a good education since he always alone and do not have any money to go to school. Now we will evaluate the expectant theory motivation of Michael's effort, performance, and outcome. For the effort part, Michael self-motivation to work hard, to continue work hard to get a good CGPA in order for him to get to college football. The performance is after working so hard and grinding, he managed to get the exact CGPA in order for him to play college football. The outcome, the balance of outcome for this is positive because Michael, who put his effort to work hard and able to perform well, which is to get the correct CGPA or the right CGPA to play college football. Next.
So this section will go through the expectancy theory of motivation for Lian. When Lian and her husband, Sean Tui, decided to become Michael's legal guardian, she went to check Michael's personal background at the relevant department. Lian's effort factor is that she investigated Michael's past before becoming his legal guardian. The success of Lian in becoming Michael's legal guardian is the performance factor. As a result, Michael and the Tui family were able to live happily and comfortably together. The outcome of balance is good since Lian was able to achieve her goal of becoming Michael's legal guardian. Next.
Next is the expectancy theory applied on the Sean Choi. In this scene, he is trying to comfort the Lians from remorse and stop blaming herself. He also called Lian to his side and hugged her. In the result, she stopped berating herself, but she still looked unhappy since the Michael haven't returned home. Relating to the expectancy theory, the effort factor is where used to get rid of Lian's regret and quit blaming herself. The performance factor is Sean Choi successfully converted Lian by saying the goods of her. The outcome was Lian is stopped from berating herself, and the result of balance is neutral because the Sean Choi successfully stopped Lian from blaming herself again, but Lian still looks sad because the Michael haven't come home yet. Next.
SJ trains Michael in the firm, building his stamina and imparting some football expertise. Michael was first uninspired to train, but with the SJ attitude, he convinced Michael to train correctly in order to become a top football player for his high school team. This action is motivated under the expectancy theory of motivation. The effort component refers to the methods by which SJ persuades and motivates Michael to complete the program properly. This prompted Michael to participate in SJ training. SJ also teaches Michael the fundamentals of football, which prepares him for game time. Michael's ability to play well during the friendly match is the performance aspect. With the assistance of SJ, he was able to put out a strong effort during the match. The outcome of balance is favorable since Michael was able to play football on a different platform. Next.
Now I'm going to explain Misu. Misu has been hired by the Lian to help Michael or her to improve his grade. At the beginnings, Michael has given up on his work because he did not understand the question given. But Misu has encouraged Michael to try the question again. Based on this, the expectancy theory of the motivation is applied in these situations. The effort factors is Misu tried all her best to help Michael or her improving his grade. Due to that reasons, Misu put a lot of efforts in guiding Michael or her in his educations. The performance factor is Michael or her has successfully gotten a good CGPA, which is qualified to get the scholarships and play in the college football. The result of violence is positive because Misu has successfully guided Michael to get a better result. Next. So now I'm going to talk about the team process. Next. There are three topics will be discussed, which are power influence in workplace, communicating in teams and organizations, and conflict and negotiation in workplace. Next. Now I'm going to talk about the power influence in workplace. In this scene, Leanne had cooked the breakfast for her family. When Leanne asked her family to having their breakfast, all of her family is going to having their breakfast at the living rooms so that they can be continue watching the football games. But only Michael is having his breakfast alone at the dining rooms. When Leanne noticed that Michael is having his breakfast alone, she immediately closed the television without asking the permission from her family and asking them all, including Michael, to having the breakfast on the dining room together. Based on this scene, we can see that the source of power used is reference power. Since Leanne is the mother of the Troy families, therefore there's no one there to oppose her. There might be a reason of it. All of the family members love and respect their mother, so there's no one of them will oppose her. Besides that, Lians have a monopoly over the resource on whether to allow to be used or not used by her children. And the influence tactic used is the silent authority, which Lian direct close the television without asking, and there is no one there to oppose her. Therefore, Lians have the power and charisma to make them follow her order without giving any rejections. Next.
Now I'm going to talk about the communicating in teams and organizations. Coach Cotton is training Michael O'Hare and his team at the school. Liv N and SJ were also there. In the training, Coach Cotton keeps scolding Michael O'Hare for making so many mistakes. Liv N can't stand it any longer. She stopped the training session to chat to Michael O'Hare. Liv N knew Michael O'Hare had been tested to 98% protective instinct. As shown in the figure, she wants Michael O'Hare to treat his teammates like family and guard them from the incursion enemy. Then Michael O'Hare did well in the next training. Michael O'Hare's chance was unexpected. Coach Carton surprised the transformation of Michael O'Hare. To improve the communication effectiveness between Michael O'Hare and Coach Cotton, both should have similar code books. Coach Cotton should first discover Michael O'Hare's attitude and behavior, while Michael O'Hare should learn the basic football strategy to comprehend Coach Cotton. Secondly, the sender should has experience encoding the message. Coach Cotton should have more communication skills than merely scolding trainers. Liv N, for example, knows how to speak with Michael O'Hare. Furthermore, must ensure that sender and receiver are motivated and able to use the communication channel. Coach Cotton may use the video training firm to educate Michael O'Hare on football strategy. Lastly, sender and receiver have shared mental models of the communication context. For example, Michael O'Hare should have football expertise or communication issues and inefficiencies would rise, causing more friction. Next.
So this section talk about the conflict and negotiation in workplace. The conflict between Lian Tohi and Michael O'Hare occurred when Lian was contacted by Jocelyn Granger to examine why Michael O'Hare picked the University of Mississippi. Michael, according to Jocelyn, feels compelled to attend Ole Miss. This caused Michael to conclude that the Tuohy family did everything on purpose in order to persuade Michael to attend their desired institution rather than his preferred college, the University of Tennessee. Following that, Michael became enraged and clashed with Leanne Tuohy in the lobby. She tries to explain why, but Michael does not give her an opportunity to explain. Instead, he walks away and stays out all night. Incompatible aims, difference, dependency, restricted resources, confusing regulations, and communication challenges are all structural origins of conflict. Incompatible aims and communication issues are the sources of conflict in the blind side. The objective of Lian and her family is to get Michael into the University of Mississippi to play football, but Michael prefers to enter the University of Tennessee. Furthermore, because Lian disliked Tennessee, the Tuohy family cannot tolerate it. Although Michael was signed by Ole Miss, the dispute between Michael and the Tuohy family began once he learned the truth from Jocelyn. Because if the Tuohy family and other members do not encourage or influence Michael's selection in the beginning, he will undoubtedly chooses the University of Tennessee. Michael believes that Lian has interfered with his aspirations and that all she has done is to get him into Ole Miss. Lian and Michael's communication troubles arose as a result of a lack of opportunity and capacity to communicate properly. For example, Michael does not let Lian explain herself, instead relying on preconceptions stated by Jocelyn. Fortunately, Lian eventually discovered Michael in the workshop after one day. They sat together and communicated effectively. Lian decided to let Michael select the university of his choice and vowed to support him at every game. Michael, on the other hand, picks Ole Miss since that is where his family attends their college. That's all for this section.
Now I'm going to talk about the organizational processes. The organizational culture can be identified through Tuohy families in accept and adopt Michael as part of their family. First of all, in story and legends, Tuohy couple always donate to their mothers before invite Michael as their family, and Tuohy family has a strong personality that influence each others. For examples, everyone's scared to interact with Michael, but Tuohy family treat Michael very friendly. Next is the ritual and ceremonies. When Lian first saw Michael on the raining days and invite Michael to sleep at her house, but SJ and Sean Choi-hee, who sit at the car, do not give any surprise emotion on it, because it is not the first time Lian does, and she like to help people who is in trouble, which already becoming part of her daily routine. Furthermore, in terms of language, family is the most important for Lian. For example, when SJ and Michael were injured in accidents, she does not scold both of them. Instead, she concerned about their conditions and trying to appease Michael from remorse. Last is the physical structure and symbols. Viewing on the house where Tuohy family live, we can observe that the Tuohy family is rich, powerful, and educated.
In conclusion, all the characters have key to success. For the first character, Michael Her, based on the team and organizational process, Michael, after receiving an advice from Lian to protect his teammates like how he protect his family, he able to understand the rules and needs of the football game. In a scene where there's a football game, Michael was having a bad game, but after an incident happened where the coach protect Michael from the opponent, Michael realized that he have to protect his teammates like how his coach protect him. This shows that the communicating in teams and organization is important in order to achieve that what is needed. For the second character is Lian Tui. She was able to influence her family to sit on the dining table to have their meal. This shows that it able to tighten the family bond between Michael and the Tui family member. She able to show the power influence in workplace. The next is Sean Tui and SJ. After Lian closed the TV while they were watching the football game and having their meal, they were at first at shock. But after listening to Lian, they decided to sit on the dining table with Michael to have their meal. This shows that the members need to listen to their leader in order to avoid conflicts. Lastly, for Misu, even though Misu do not have much in the team process and organizational process, she and Michael did work together in order to achieve their goal, which is to get a 2.5 CGPA to qualify Michael to play in college football. This shows that all the characters have a key success in this movie. Next. That's all from us. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks.